Hey there folks, I am the Mighty Plantain. Thanks for checking out this video. We are working on Sam Adams Beers for Cheers for this year, 2022. Now, I did wind up going with this gigantic Sam's Club 24 pack. First off, I'm pretty sure I'm going to like all the beers in here. I know for a fact that I do 5 of them and probably the sixth as well. Why the hell did I just stumble over sixth? That's a veto thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. So anyway, I had to go with the big 24 pack instead of the 12 pack. One, because again, I'm probably gonna like all the beers in here, and two, this hasn't shown up. The 12 packs have not shown up at my local beer store or grocery stores yet, but Sam's Club got the 24 pack in. So let's take a look at the rundown. Sam Adams Boston Lager, of course. Old Fezziwig is fucking back again. Again, we get it 2 years in a row. God damn it, I am fucking thrilled about that. Now, if we could just get it in 6 and 12 packs, my life would be complete. All right, maybe that's an overstatement, but I would be very, very happy about that. But I'll settle for having Old Fezziwig twice in a row, and I've got 4 of them in this pack. Maybe I'll grab another 12 pack just to get some more. I don't know. Sam Adams Winter Lager, that's a mainstay. Even after they made it lighter and smoother than it used to be, it's still a decent winter beer. Holiday White Ale, which I believe was new last year. Citrusy, da-da-da-da-da. It's okay. It's, it's a little lighter than I like my winter beers to be, but it's there and it's not bad. And then we have one new beer this year out of 6, the Cold IPA, which is fine. You know what? We used to get 2 new beers in these packs and 6 varieties total. I'm fine with getting 1 new variety in this pack, given that the other 5 are definite winners. And then Sam Adams Black Lager is back. Now that you can get in 6 packs this year, which is really nice. I'm probably going to pick up at least 1 of those. We haven't seen the Black Lager in a little while, but it's a great one. So anyway, there's probably no mysteries in this pack. How are we going to line them up? Quick lesson for those of you who are new to this whole thing. For those of you who have seen at least one of my videos before with a variety pack and probably just know anyway, this is going to be old news, but typically you want to line your beers up lighter to darker, and I'm making an assumption on some of these because I don't quite remember exactly the light to dark, but the other thing that you want to be aware of is hoppiness, or your IBU, International Bitterness Units. And this is the best way to spot a new person at a craft beer brewery or craft beer serving place. Brew pub, or anyway where they serve beer flights is a good way to spot somebody who's fairly new to the whole thing. You line your beers up light to dark, but when it gets to the hoppier beers or your IPAs, which comprises about half the menu at most of these places these days, you want to go from your less hoppy to more hoppy beers, even if that puts a completely black beer ahead of 2 or 3 other beers in your flight. So, because the bitterness of an IPA can wreck your palate faster than a dark, heavy flavor can. So, all that being said, we're going to start with the Holiday White Ale. Then I believe we're going to move on to the Winter Lager, actually. Then to Old Fezziwig. And then because of the hoppiness, we're going to hit the Black Lager next. Sam Adams Boston Lager is going to follow that. It's a lighter beer than the Black Lager, but 19 IBUs in the Black Lager, 30 in the Boston Lager. Boston Lager tends to be a little bit hoppy. I don't want that to interfere with the flavor of the other beers. And yes, there's a little bit of mixing here because the Fezziwig is a 25 IBU beer, and we're putting that ahead of the 19 IBU Black Lager. But I don't think that there's a hoppy enough character to either of those 2 beers that one's going to overshadow the other. When it comes to the Boston Lager, I think that will be hoppy enough to do that. Pardon. And then we're going to put the Cold IPA, the new one, last at 40 IBUs. I don't know what to expect from it. But at 40 IBUs and being an IPA, it should be hoppier than the Boston Lager. That's not always the case, though. There are some IPAs out there that are not as hoppy tasting as a Sam Adams Boston Lager, which, it is what it is. So, all that being said, let's get started with the Holiday White Ale. And I do always tap the top of the bottles beforehand. Sometimes that can take care of any sort of potential explosion. It does tamp down some of the fizziness by providing a natural nucleation point for a beer that's been shaken up. Not that any of these have been shaken up, but there's a possibility between moving them between the fridge and the box and all that we just don't want a beer to blow up. Anyway, nice light golden color, quite effervescent, slightly hazy, of course. Just a generally nice looking beer. Oddly, slightly bitter aroma coming off of it. But just overall a grainy, malty character. Maybe a slight hint of citrus in there, but again, mostly just a nice, light, fresh, grainy aroma with a hint of bitterness. Nice medium light mouthfeel. And again, it's a lot lighter than I like my winter beers to be, but still does the trick. Medium light mouthfeel, but it's got a nice grainy body with a crisp, clean finish. There's maybe a hint of citrus in there and maybe some odd holiday spices. Nothing too crazy. Not very many intense flavors, but again, a very easy drinking beer. And again, a lot lighter than what I would prefer for a nice winter beer, but it's also not, it's not bad. It's not too light, you know what I mean? If that makes any sense. It's good. Nice and solid. I'm hitting this with a 3.5 out of 5. Now, I'm going to try to say this only once during this video. On a scale of 1 to 5, a 2.5 is average. So a 3.5 is a fairly above average beer. It's just, like I said, it's not blowing me away or anything, but I've got nothing bad to say about it. It's an easy drinking, good beer. Anyway, I'm going to finish this one up. We're going to move on to the winter lager. All right, next up is the winter lager. This is festive and smooth at 22 IBUs. I'll put the ABV and the IBUs down the... Pardon. I think that last one came up all at once. I'll put the ABVs and the IBUs down in the video description. Sometimes I call them off as I drink them. Other times I completely forget. A little too early for hiccups after one beer. Yeah, I'll line those up afterwards and get them nice and pretty for you. All right. So, look at that. Nice, I would say an amber-colored brown. It's like a nice light, almost orangish, reddish brown. Slightly effervescent, not hazy. Very clear beer. But they did, as I mentioned at the top of the video, reformulate the winter lager at one point to make it lighter and smoother. And I don't think that was necessary, but I'm not going to say they ruined the beer. It's just different. It's not as dark and heavy as it used to be. Nice and grainy. Possibly a slight hint of sweetness. Not much though. Basically just a nice grainy aroma, but not anything really intense coming through. Nice medium mouthfeel. Some hints, very slight hints of winter spices. I don't know, maybe cinnamon, nutmeg, that kind of stuff. Just, I don't know. I can't really put a finger on anything in there in particular. It's just got a nice roasty character. And again, a slight hint of sweetness. Makes me think of winter. It makes me think of winter and the holidays. And that's possible that my brain's just making the association of this beer with this time of year. But either way, it works. Yeah, again, there's not much to say about it other than it's a nice roasty, grainy, maybe slightly sweet flavor with some hints of holiday spice type stuff, maybe cinnamon, nutmeg, and I don't know. It's slightly reminiscent of a Yule log, but that could just be mental images overlapping with the beer flavor. Anyway, it's good. It's solid. I'm never going to not like this. Well, I'm not going to say that. They might reformulate it again. But I can't imagine ever not liking this beer. It's another really good 3.5 out of 5 for me. Again, nothing too crazy that's blowing me away, but I got nothing bad to say about it. It's nice, it's familiar, and it's good. All right, I'm going to finish this one up, and we're moving on to Old Fezziwig. All right, next up, in case you couldn't tell, top of the video, I was very excited about Old Fezziwig. Oh, it's great. It's different. I mean, there was one other brewery that had something similar that I found one year. It wasn't quite the same, but it was similar. And I was crazy about it, and I can't remember what the hell it was. I could go back probably and find it in my old videos, but I don't know. There's just not quite anything like Old Fezziwig. Almost looked syrupy as I was pouring it out, and some of the bubbles kind of danced on the head of the beer. Whew, pardon, I knew that one was coming, and I tried to get it to come before starting this segment, but look at that. Slightly effervescent, nice and clear, a slightly reddish hue to an otherwise pretty brownish beer. Just smells of holiday spices. It's like ginger, orange peel, and something else in there. Cinnamon, maybe? It's almost like a mulled cider type of deal with the aroma. Without all the apple, though. Nice medium mouthfeel. Got a decent graininess to it. Slightly roasty, almost smoky. But then again, those holiday spices, the orange peel, the ginger, it's... Oh, man. I don't know. It's just different. It's just different and a nice, unique flavor. If anything makes me think of Christmas, it's this. Oh, man. Words kind of escape me sometimes. And this is one of those ones. It's just delicious. Plain and simple. Old Fezziwig is unique, different, and delicious. Like I said, I've found like one beer that's similar, but it wasn't quite the same, and it was more watered down than this. I look forward to it every time I hear that it's coming in the holiday packs, and I appreciate all of you guys, Dylan and Tyler and some of you others. Sorry, I've got like a whole list that I should have written down, but folks giving me a heads up that this was coming, and I finally found it. Anyway, Old Fezziwig. This one seems a little smokier than usual, but maybe it's just because it's been a year since I had them, and that's not a bad flavor, the smokiness, but it's definitely more intense than I remember. But good. Very, very good. Fezziwig is always a solid 5 out of 5 for me. It is a perfectly well put together holiday beer, and I got nothing bad to say about it. I love it. It's one of my favorites, and I always look forward to it. So I'm going to finish this one up. And we are going to move on to... we're up to the black lager already. Awesome. All right, now we have got the black lager. It says here, dark and roasted. Well, would have expected that from a black lager. I mean, just looking at the bottle itself before I've even poured the beer out, the bottle looks darker. And these are all the same shade of brown glass, so... Now, I don't know if I'd call that completely black. I mean, it's certainly closer to black than a lot of lagers are, but I've seen completely black beers, and that is not one of them. That is an extremely dark brown. It's almost black up here where the light's not getting through, but definitely a dark brown. Maybe a hint of a reddish tinge. It looks like it's clear and not hazy. Slightly effervescent. A few bubbles coming up from the bottom there. But yeah, even without the light directly on it, I can see that it's brown, not black. But again, semantics. It's closer to black than a lot of lagers are. Oh, that smells nice and roasty. Almost burnt. Almost. It's been a while. I'm trying to think how many years it's been since the black lager's been out from Sam Adamson. I could be wrong. Maybe it was out last year, but just wasn't part of the variety pack. But it seems to me like it hasn't been around for a while. I know I haven't had one in a long time, so. Medium heavy mouthfeel. Up front, very roasty, slightly smoky maltiness. There's definitely dark roasted malts in there. There might be a hint of sweetness carried through there as well, though. Yeah. Medium heavy mouthfeel, but it's resting heavier than it feels. It's the mouthfeel, the texture, the body to it doesn't seem like it's all that heavy, but the second it gets down in here, it's resting very, very heavy. I think a couple of these would be about equivalent to a nice meal. It's sitting heavy. It's very filling. But delicious. Pardon. Not much more to it, though. Mostly just a dark, heavy, roasty, malty beer with a hint of smokiness. Again, it's on the cusp of tasting burnt, but it's not quite there, and that's not an unpleasant thing. It's solid and it's good. It's not... Again, it's not something that's really blowing me away or giving me anything unique, but it's a nice solid beer. I think I'm hitting this one with a 4 out of 5. I'm really digging it, and again, it might be because I haven't had it in a while, but it It's a one-trick pony. Nothing wrong with that. Just very dark, very roasty, very nice dark lager. But nothing too crazy or off the wall. But with that being said, I got nothing negative to say about it. So there you have it. 4 out of 5. I'm going to finish this one up, and we're going to move on to the Boston Lager. Won't be any surprises there, folks. All right, and next up is the Sam Adams Boston Lager. Oh, that cap was a little difficult. All right, now this is obviously the Sam Adams flagship beer. As such, it does belong in every one of their variety packs. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind seeing it take a back seat to another seasonally appropriate beer, but I never am disappointed by Sam Adams Boston Lager. Look at that. A nice, clear, amber colored beer. Plenty of bubbles coming up there. Just a nice strong beery aroma. Hints of hoppy and bitterness, hints of malty, grainy aroma. Just a little bit of everything there. It's a nice crisp aroma too. Nice medium mouthfeel. Good blend of grainy flavors, followed up by a bit of a hoppy bitterness, but not too much. And in that hoppy bitterness, not necessarily any particular notes coming through, like the citrus or the pine or floral or grassy or dank or earthy, nothing like that. Just a general hoppy bitterness. But it's not overpowering the rest of the beer flavor. It's just kind of working with it and melding together. Like I said, prior to opening it, no surprises here. Sam Adams Boston Lager is always a perfect 5 out of 5 from me. I cannot find fault with the beer. There's no particular flavor element that comes forward and distinguishes it. It's just the fact that it is a perfectly balanced, perfectly well put together beer. And again, it never disappoints. Sam Adams was kind of one of my jumping off point into the craft beer world. It was the first time I strayed from a macro produced thing like Bud Light, Miller Lite, etc., and actually started drinking beer for the enjoyment of the beer, not just to get drunk. So I guess it's always going to have a special place in my heart because of that as well. But again, it is a perfect beer. Full on 5 out of 5 from me. I'm going to finish this one up, and then we're going to check out the brand new cold IPA. All right, we are up to the last beer in the pack, and this is the one new one this year. This is Sam Adams Crisp and Hoppy Cold IPA. So let's see what we're working with here. Oh my goodness, look at that. That is a non-hazy IPA. I've had conversations with brewers and even brewery owners. Jim from Island Dog in Portland, it comes to mind. Just the fact that everybody out there expects their IPAs to be hazy these days. And an IPA does not need to be hazy to be good or hoppy. It doesn't need particulates and it doesn't need cloudiness. Now, this is a clear IPA. The glass has got a little bit of sweat on it, so you're not seeing it as clearly as before. But this is a clear IPA. That is not hazy or cloudy at all. There we go. can't believe the glasses are actually sweating. It's 68 degrees in here on a November, middle of November evening. That's today, the 12th, 11th or 12th. I don't know. I'd have to look at the damn calendar. But yeah, we've had a nice warm spell here in Maine lately. But yeah, a nice non-hazy, non-cloudy IPA, slightly effervescent. There's a decent amount of bubbles coming up through there. Nice golden yellow color. There's a hint of hoppiness there. I'm almost smelling grapefruit. Now, I'm particularly keyed towards citrus and pine, so those are the two hop notes that I pick up on more than anything else. But I'm specifically getting grapefruit in the aroma on this. Yeah, definitely grapefruit. Nice medium mouthfeel. It's got a good body to it. There's a nice light grainy malt profile to it. And then it kind of hits you with a punch of hops. I'm getting an overall hoppy bitterness, but I am kind of getting distinctly grapefruit flavor in the finish. But in between, there's that hoppy bitterness combined with the there's the pith, the white flesh on any citrus fruit. I want to say it's called the pith, but it's got a name. And that flavor is hitting me after the hoppy bitterness, before the grapefruit, the distinct grapefruit kicks in. Definitely citrusy though. Grapefruit specifically, hints, maybe some minor hints of pine and earthiness, but just an overall nice hoppy bitterness. It's got a bit of a cool, crisp finish to it as well, which is different. And it's an IPA. It's a decent IPA. It's got some body to it, a nice grainy profile before it hits you with the hops. A little lighter, a little hoppier than I'd like in a winter beer, but the popularity of IPAs, they have to throw at least one in there, I'm assuming. Excuse me. Sorry about that. It's getting later in the day. I don't know. I'm not impressed by it. What's one more IPA in the giant, massive field of them these days? But it's not a bad one. You know what I mean? It's just kind of, it gets lost in the crowd. It gets lost in the crowd of decent IPAs. It's not bad, but it's not earth-shattering. It's okay. I mean, I'm willing to accept it in my winter beer pack. Would I rather see something dark and malty like, I don't know, the chocolate bock coming back, or the coffee chocolate bock? Hell yeah. Or black and brew, I think was what they called it. Or the cherry chocolate bock. Hell yeah. I wouldn't mind a darker, heavier beer in this pack instead of burp. Excuse me, an IPA. Burp. Whew, pardon. But if you're going to cram an IPA in there anyway, this cold IPA is not a bad option. But it's not a great IPA. It's just a decent IPA. I'm hovering here. I want to give it at least a 3.5 out of 5, but I'm kind of pissy about the fact that it's even in there and it's not a great IPA. So I want to push it down to a 3, but that's me punishing this beer for my personal tastes and feelings right now, instead of actually rating it based on how good the beer itself is. So I'm going to give it that 3.5 out of 5. It's not great. It's not awful, but I can't find any fault with it. I'm just not impressed. So that's what we've got out of this pack. Pretty decent lineup, actually, all things considered. We've got 3.5s, 2 5s, and a 4. I mean, the fact that they got Old Fezziwig in there again, the Boston Lager, and they brought back the Black Lager. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm almost as excited about the Black Lager being in here as I am about Fezziwig coming back. Winter Lager, again, always a classic, but it just doesn't hit the spot like it used to. The Holiday White Ale, lighter than I'd like, but no fault there. And Cold IPA, it's just an IPA. Anyway, that's just what I have to say about these 6 beers in this year's pack. Hit me up down below in the comments or the email link. Let me know what you think about either any of the beers or the pack as a whole. Love to hear what you have to say. While you're down there, don't forget to like and share the video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. Till next time, folks, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.